Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. Today I want to talk about something we've all experienced but might not always acknowledge. Red flags. You know, those subtle and sometimes not so subtle warning signs that make us feel uneasy but we often brush aside. I've spent years studying human behavior and working with people who face challenging situations, and I can tell you that learning to recognize these warning signs early can literally transform your life. As someone who's personally ignored quite a few red flags in the past, I understand why sometimes we choose to look the other way. Let me share something interesting. Research shows that people typically notice red flags within the first few interactions with someone, but many of us choose to ignore them. Setting the context. Whether it's in our romantic relationships, professional lives, or friendships, red flags don't discriminate. I've seen them pop up everywhere, and I've learned that having high emotional intelligence isn't always enough. We need to be willing to acknowledge what we're seeing. Think about it. How many times have you had that gut feeling that something wasn't quite right, but you talked yourself out of it? Maybe you thought you were being too sensitive or overthinking things. So let's start with relationship red flags, where some of the most crucial red flags often appear. I remember working with a client who experienced intense emotional manipulation. It started so subtly that he didn't even notice it happening. One of the most deceptive tactics I've observed is love bombing. Love bombing is a form of psychological manipulation where someone overwhelms their target with excessive affection, attention, compliments, and grand gestures in a short period. It's often designed to create a false sense of intimacy, making the recipient feel special, valued, and deeply connected to the person engaging in this behavior. While love bombing may initially feel flattering and romantic, it often serves as a tactic to gain control, establish dominance, or to cover up infidelity in a relationship. The intense affection can make the recipient dependent on the love bomber, which may lead to emotional manipulation later. Love bombing is most commonly seen at the start of a relationship when the love bomber wants to quickly establish trust and emotional intimacy. It can also be used as a tactic to win someone back after an argument or separation, often creating a cycle of highs and lows. Love bombers often use intense affection to mask unhealthy behaviors like control, jealousy, cheating, or manipulation. Love bombing can be part of a cycle of abuse, alternating between overwhelming affection and neglect or mistreatment, leaving the recipient confused and emotionally tied. Key signs of love bombing. Over-the-top compliments or declarations of love very early on. Showering you with expensive gifts or grand gestures. Demanding constant attention or quick commitment. And reacting negatively when you set boundaries or take things slow. It's essential to recognize love bombing for what it is, a tactic that can often lead to an unhealthy or toxic relationship dynamic. Healthy relationships grow over time, are built on mutual respect, and do not rely on overwhelming displays of affection to establish trust. And now let's discuss red flags in friendships, warning signs you shouldn't ignore. Friendships are built on trust, respect, and mutual support. However, not all friendships are healthy, and some may have red flags that signal toxicity, manipulation, or imbalance. Recognizing these warning signs early can protect your emotional well-being and help you maintain a healthier relationship. So here are some common red flags in friendships. If you're always the one initiating contact, planning meetups, or offering support while receiving little in return, the friendship may lack balance. A friend who frequently belittles you, dismisses your feelings, or focuses on your flaws can erode your self-esteem over time. Sharing your secrets or speaking negatively about you behind your back shows a lack of loyalty and respect. A friend who constantly competes with you or envies your success may struggle to genuinely celebrate your achievements. If a friend pressures you to do things you're uncomfortable with or tries to control your decisions, this is a clear red flag. Healthy friendships respect personal space and limits. A friend who consistently ignores your boundaries may not value your needs. A true friend celebrates your successes and stands by you in tough times. If they're absent when you need them, it's a sign of an unbalanced relationship. And if interactions with a friend leave you feeling drained, anxious, or unhappy more often than uplifted, it may be a sign of a toxic dynamic. So, how do you handle red flags in friendships? Communicate, discuss your feelings with your friend, and set clear boundaries. Reflect, evaluate whether the friendship aligns with your values and needs. Distance yourself. If the behavior persists, consider limiting contact or ending the friendship. Focus on healthy connections. Invest in relationships that are supportive, respectful, and uplifting. Recognizing red flags allows you to prioritize your emotional health and build meaningful, fulfilling friendships. Remember, a healthy friendship is a two-way street based on mutual care and respect. And now we turn to red flags in the workplace. In the workplace, red flags can be trickier to identify because they're often normalized. There are countless cases of professional gaslighting where employees are made to question their own competence and reality. Toxic workplace culture rarely improves on its own. If anything, it usually gets worse when left unaddressed. Professional gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation that occurs in the workplace where an individual or group intentionally distorts facts, denies evidence, or undermines someone's perception of reality to gain control, power, or advantage. It's a subtle yet harmful tactic that can damage the victim's confidence, professional reputation, and mental well-being. So let's discuss how professional gaslighting manifests. A manager or colleague might claim they never approved a decision or made a request, even when there's evidence to the contrary. Gaslighters may criticize or question a victim's performance, even when their work is exemplary, to erode their confidence. A gaslighter might dismiss concerns with phrases like, "You're overacting," or "You're too sensitive," or "That's not what happened." They may share misleading or untrue accounts of events to others, damaging the victim's credibility. They may assign vague or unrealistic tasks, then blame the victim for not meeting expectations. They may highlight minor errors as major failures while ignoring successes. So what is the impact of professional gaslighting? It erodes confidence. Victims may begin to doubt their skills, memory, or perceptions. It damages reputations. False narratives can lead to loss of respect or trust from colleagues. It increases stress and anxiety. Constant questioning of reality can take a toll on mental health. And it creates a toxic work environment. It fosters mistrust and damages team morale. So let's discuss how to address professional gaslighting. Document everything. Keep records of conversations, decisions, and tasks in writing to counter false claims. Seek support. Talk to a trusted colleague, mentor, or HR professional about the behavior. Set boundaries. Push back calmly but firmly when confronted with manipulation. Focus on facts. Present evidence to clarify misunderstandings or disputes. And consider external help. If the behavior persists, seek legal advice or explore other career options if the environment becomes intolerable. Recognizing professional gaslighting is the first step in protecting yourself and fostering a healthier, more productive work environment. When it comes to career warning signs, one pattern consistently observed is the infamous moving goalpost phenomenon. You achieve what was asked of you, but suddenly the expectations change without explanation. And high turnover rates in a company, especially among talented individuals, is a major red flag. I always tell my clients if people are consistently leaving, there's usually a good reason. And now let's discuss one-sided relationships. One-sided relationships are incredibly draining. You know, those friends who only call when they need something. I can't recall the number of times I've received a text message from someone I haven't heard from in months or even years with the message, "I need a big favor." It's always a request for money. And then there's jealousy. Jealousy and envy are closely related emotions that arise from feelings of insecurity, comparison, or perceived threats. While they are often used interchangeably, they have distinct meanings and triggers. Jealousy typically involves a fear of losing something or someone valuable to a perceived rival. It's often experienced in the context of relationships or personal connections and is driven by a desire to protect what one values. Key characteristics of jealousy: it involves three parties, for example, you, someone you care about, and a perceived rival, or fueled by insecurity, fear, or a sense of inadequacy. It can also lead to possessiveness, mistrust, or conflict if left unchecked. Envy arises when you desire something that someone else has, such as possessions, achievements, qualities, or status. Unlike jealousy, envy doesn't necessarily involve a third party and focuses on comparison and longing. Key characteristics of envy include the involvement of two parties, you and the person you compare yourself to. It can stem from feelings of unfairness, inadequacy, or longing, and may lead to resentment or motivation, depending on how it's handled. Jealousy and envy, if unmanaged, can harm relationships, self-esteem, and mental well-being. They may also lead to toxic behaviors, for example, manipulation, resentment, or withdrawal. If you experience jealousy or envy, acknowledge the feeling. Recognize and accept the emotion without judgment. Identify the triggers. Understand what or who is causing the feeling. Shift focus. Concentrate on your strengths, accomplishments, and personal growth. Communicate openly. Discuss your feelings of jealousy in relationships to build trust. And set goals. Use envy as motivation to achieve what you desire. By understanding jealousy and envy, you can navigate these emotions more effectively and foster healthier relationships with others and yourself. When it comes to social circle dynamics, gossip isn't just casual conversation, it's often a form of social currency and control. When someone consistently shares others' secrets with you, they're probably sharing your secrets too. And some people maintain friendships purely for strategic advantages. I call these transactional relationships, and they're more common than you might think. And then there's toxic negativity, which refers to a persistent pattern of pessimism, criticism, or destructive attitudes that drain the emotional energy of those around. Unlike occasional venting or frustration, this behavior involves habitual complaining, dismissing positive outcomes, or bringing others down with relentless negativity. It can damage relationships, stifle personal growth, and create a hostile or discouraging environment. Overstepping boundaries occurs when someone disregards or disrespects the personal limits you've set for yourself and could involve invading your personal space, making unwanted comments about your choices, or pressuring you into situations you're uncomfortable with. It signals a lack of respect for your autonomy and can lead to feelings of discomfort, frustration, and even resentment. And controlling behaviors involve attempts to dominate or manipulate others' actions, choices, or feelings to maintain power or authority in a relationship. This can manifest as excessive monitoring, isolating someone from friends or family, making all decisions unilaterally, or using guilt and intimidation to enforce compliance. Such behaviors undermine trust and independence, often leading to an unhealthy dynamic. We spoke about professional gaslighting, but gaslighting in general is a manipulative tactic where someone distorts or denies reality to make another person question their perceptions, memory, or sanity. Common examples include dismissing valid concerns with phrases like, "You're imagining things," or twisting facts to shift blame. Can you think any of examples of how this is applied in a romantic relationship? Gaslighting can erode self-confidence and leave the victim feeling confused, isolated, and dependent on the manipulator's version of reality. And the final red flags, lying and deception, which is widely understood and needs no explanation. Conclusion: be on the lookout for red flags that warn you about these toxic behaviors. Recognizing and addressing them is essential for maintaining healthy dynamics and protecting your mental health. If you're struggling with any of these situations, please know that seeking support isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. Now, I want to hear your thoughts. What red flags have you noticed in your relationships? Share your experiences in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights on maintaining healthy relationships and boundaries. If you like this video, you will love our video on In Search of Romance, Green Card Love and Dating Scams, Red Flags to Watch For. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.